Dear Father, thank you so much for our gathering today. Thank you for all the many blessings that you bestow on us. Thank you for watching over our fire and our police and our public works and sewer and all the employees. Thank you for the sacrifice of your Son for our salvation. Please look over our meeting and help us to make good decisions for our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Bonnie, thank you.
Welcome.
All right. We're starting our meeting at 6:02. I got to call to order, please. Roll call.
Bonnie,
Here.
Brad,
Here.
Jennifer,
Here.
Rob,
Here.
Faith,
Here.
Mike.
Thank you, Council. I need a motion and a second to approve our meeting notes from July 14th.
Motion.
Motion by Rob,
Second.
second by Faith. Had a delay in that. All right, Ms. Brenda.
Bonnie,
Abstain, I wasn't here.
okay. Mike,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and Rob.
Yes.
All right, thank you all. All right, Mr. Jeremy Cuba, would you come up here and push the little button and give us kind of an update on planning and zoning? We've been trying to mix and match the number of folks as far as making presentations, but we're glad to have you today.
Oh, happy to be here. All right. Well, so I'm going to go over the last 2 months. So July was a pretty short docket. Actually, it would have been a short meeting, but the first hour was taken up. The attorney who was presenting the first case didn't have his ducks in a row and canceled within a few minutes of the meeting. So obviously there's a lot of people who were upset who took time out of their day to show up, and so now that was I guess part of a bigger theme of what we're expecting out of people who do show up to present, and especially on the attorney side, who you bring. If you just show up yourself, or if you bring professionals who are competent in the areas of of the development that you're presenting, because that's I guess an issue that we've had where the attorney will show up and talk about a development without having the property owner there, without having anybody from a site design firm. And so I made a point of it in that discussion and in a subsequent discussion with the same attorney that I really want to see a higher level of presentation for these cases. So that was the first hour of the meeting. After that, it was actually a fairly short docket. So that goes back to the June meeting. I think there's a couple of cases of interest there. The first one is it's a residential development along Beach Grove Road. I know a couple of people have reached out to me. Mike had talked to me. Faith, I know you had sent an email, and I was on vacation when you sent it, but eventually, I guess, are you all familiar with that case along Beach Grove Road?
We are. We are.
I was surprised at the lack of public turnout to speak about it. There was one lady who lived next to it, but nobody from the neighborhood came out really. I know, Mike, you said you live in the area, and there really wasn't much discussion, even amongst the planning commission members, like asking questions and that. And I think I probably asked nearly all of the questions. I understand that there's concern about it just not fitting. The adjacent property owner, I think her assertion was that the property was drawn incorrectly, and the evidence that is presented is based on the documentation done by a professional land surveyor, and if it's not correct, it can't go forth as designed anyway. So it becomes I would say a moot point, but. We have recognized the need for housing in the community, and I think if anything was incorrectly presented at that meeting, well, then that changes things. But I do think it makes sense for the area. It is at the fringe of the neighborhood, where you meet this, I don't know if Beech Grove is still a state route, but it's a
It is,
main
it's
route
a state route.
through there. So in terms of placement, it does make sense. I don't like the number of access points. There's driveway after driveway after driveway. I would like, if this goes through, I would like to see on a design review some provision to have fewer conflict points between the pedestrians, because they did include sidewalks, which, but fewer conflict points between driveways and the sidewalk, and that means potentially combining driveways, but there's just too many driveways too close to Beech Grove Road. But that in itself was not a reason from my reading of it to deny the zoning. I think there was also questions about drainage, and one thing I would point out is that from their testimony, the front half of the site, or the site facing the road with the driveways and the buildings, would all be routed into the storm sewer of, is it Oak Grove, the residential development, because it's at the high end of their storm sewer, and would have to be, the pre and post development flows, would be maintained. So you wouldn't have the entire site sheeting off into the adjacent property owner, which was the concern. There would be the back half of it, which is already going that way. So that alleviated my concerns with regard to drainage.
I have a question for you. You said we saw that the vote was 5-4. There was only 4 people missing, I guess, vacations or whatever was going on.
Yeah, there were several out, and it's honestly, it had to be, the chair had to break the tie, which, that's what surprised me, that there was,
I was going to ask you, was there any comments on the negative side?
there was no questioning, other than the questions I was asking. I don't remember much other questioning, and to have that many people vote against, feel that strongly to vote against it, I'm surprised that there wasn't questioning.
They didn't say anything at all then? So you're telling me there's no remarks made, they just voted no?
No, let's see, I've got the minutes, let me see,
Okay.
let me see if.
I just want to know what, at least where the comments were from the 4 that
Yeah,
didn't.
let's see, this is, guess I'll show pictures.
I went over there a couple times, and the sign was kind of laying down. That could be why a lot of people didn't. I don't know why planning and zoning don't go and recheck those. 'Cause people do pull them up. The sign was laying down.
Mhm.
So people probably didn't see it, for one thing.
So, yeah, of the other, I don't remember any questions from the other commission members, which,
Okay,
that's
that's okay. I
surprising.
just didn't, if you had something in your minutes, I just wanted to see. I was just curious if they're going to vote no,
So-
why wouldn't say something?
So, yeah, it surprised me that it was that close. The motion I did make to approve it did include a provision that they would, any fill material that they placed within the regulated floodplain would have to be compensated on site, so that if you put material down here for the, to bring out the building pad, you have to remove it.
It's 1-to-1, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if we were in Jefferson County, it would be automatic and maybe even at a 2-to-1. Like if they put one, they'd have to remove 2. We don't, I'm not sure exactly how our regulations read here, but our floodplain ordinances are not as strict as other communities. So that was my way of at least making sure that we're made whole. Let's see.
That's pretty standard practice for all the developments that and that's what should be. I mean, it may need to be noted or somebody has to bring it up. But I know that in any development I've seen, it's been 1-to-1.
Well, and that's, at some point, maybe we look at either make it just, I'm not sure of the enforcement arm, like how closely it's watched. I'm gonna, and I've applied that restriction to other zoning cases. There was one on, off of old 480C, which, had the same restriction, but, I do want to make sure that we're consciously, looking out for that.
Okay.
So the other case, and there was actually a series of cases, and that's where Bonnie, I realized I thought I had replied to your email, and I did not, so I apologize. There was 3 cases together, and that was and this was, I'll say it was a confusing presentation. It was from the, let's see. Yes, and let's see, I had the name on somewhere, where was it? trying to think of the ministry, or the name of the group that was,
Mark 12.
yes, Mark 12 Ministries. So we have 3 parcels where one of them would be
The thrift store.
the thrift store, and then there was a lot of confusion about the terminology of using tourist camp. I think that was,
Is that meant, who used that verbiage?
Charlie Spalding.
I think that, yeah, and it was,
Charlie used it because there was no other wording that really fit it, and he felt like, because he sent us an email, that was the best way to describe it in terms of how that, we had that terminology and where that would be zoned, so that's why he dubbed it that, because it fit the
and
best.
the attorney presenting it, there were no exhibits, no drawings, other than the zoning map, which doesn't clearly distinguish between, there's one large parcel that, the same parcel shows up for both cases. And so I was pretty vocal in that, not that I was necessarily in favor or against the zoning itself, but that we did not have enough information to make any judgment. And so I pushed for to have that tabled and give them time to put together some, to get a consultant on board. You know, we need a drawing. We need to see what, you know, not just described in words, but we need it on paper. What are you actually trying to do and where? Because that we did get Mr. Yoakum. I can't think of his first name.
Jason?
I
Oh, the
believe he's the excavate. He's the guy with the excavation.
Jason. It's
He
Jason.
was there because he has business in the area, and he gave pretty strong testimony in that, you know, with that being in a floodplain, there's issues there, and you know, not just the fact that you're building in a floodplain, that if you are bringing people into an area that is flood prone to stay for any amount of time, there's also an elevated risk there that you have to be able to get people out in the event of a flood situation. So that's another level of complexity that I don't think was maybe thought of, but they are on the August docket. And I haven't received my packet yet, but I did look online and it's been posted. And they do have drawings from, I think Mendel Scott produced them.
What's the elevation difference have to be there? Is that, we're gonna be talking about the elevation difference on that piece of property, if it's in a floodplain?
I
it's gotta
haven't
be-
looked at the map to see how far below the FEMA floodplain they are. I think it's in this area. I know, well,
Is it 12?
further around where the park is, because that's where I live. It's I think 447. So I'm not sure.
The big number, yeah.
Yeah, not sure what the ground elevation is at that site. So there's several considerations. I'm
And that's a
hoping,
cost to them, obviously, for them to do that, so that's gotta be figured out in that and what they're gonna consider for that.
right?
property. Okay.
Yeah, definitely, and also not just how they would potentially deal with items like that, but how there's security questions. That's with Mr. Yoakum that brought up that he's at his concerns, but also just which property is gonna have which features, because it was just not clearly presented, and I don't think it would have been fair to make a decision either way based on.
Yeah, you said you had 3 pieces in that, you just
Yes.
mentioned 2.
What's
The
that?
tourist camps and the thrift store.
Right, and I don't know if it's because of separate, once again, because of not having a drawing, it was difficult. I didn't print out, I don't have the new drawing. Let me see if,
When did you say that was gonna be on the docket?
2 are listed for the.
August
I've already got
13th or
phone
14th,
calls.
it's the August meeting. I think it's
Okay.
Isn't it
13th or
third?
It's the
14th.
first Thursday,
Okay,
right?
I'll get it, don't worry about it, thank you, I'll look at
Yeah,
it.
but it is the August meeting, yeah.
Okay, it
And
is the
if you
August.
go to the planning
It's-
website,
Oh,
all of the,
sorry, August 14th,
Okay,
7.
and they actually, this is one where I was really happy, they actually have, all of their drawings are kind of built within the docket. It's got them to where you can actually read them. I am gonna ask for a larger copy of it, but, it looks like they have definitely taken my recommendations in terms of what they produce. I've gotten the feedback from, Faith, I think you had mentioned it, and Bonnie. I would like to hear, if there's specific concerns are more helpful to me in order to inform my questioning. So that is most helpful.
too close to residential for me.
All right. and
So do me a favor, when you get through that meeting on the 14th, if you would, at least follow up with the council and myself, just to
Sure.
give us some updates on that. And then if there's diagrams, if you can send it to us, we can print them up. If it's bigger, if you bring it to us, we can make the
I
copy.
generally have to,
They got them on the website.
Yeah, what's that?
All the maps,
All the same?
everything
Okay.
looks the same for each one, so it doesn't really tell.
That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I wanna see after this meeting,
Okay.
if they've made any adjustments for that, because they're not giving you
So,
a description.
I'll say in the
Yeah.
previous one, we didn't have any, so like site drawings, or from an engineering, like the engineering drawings I saw from Mendel Scott that I just looked at on the website actually have, the entire site with, it looked like they were showing features that would, of things that would be built. I've gotta get the full resolution version of it to actually be able to
We wanna
scrutinize
see
it.
what the buildings are gonna look like, because to our understanding, or at least to my understanding, they're looking at building tiny homes for homeless.
It was,
You know,
so, and the
that's-
limited information I saw, that sounds about like what they were talking, or,
Yeah, it's bunkhouses.
so, but I think the general intent needed to be better articulated, and it was not, and so,
Almost. I think, in fact, after this 14th meeting, we'll see what happens with that.
okay, yeah.
Okay.
The other, let's see, there's another one on the docket for next month. There is a Dollar General on West Blue Lick, just west of Saltwell Road. So there's a trailer park I guess it's on Saltwell, and then Dollar General that's across from, I guess that's Mallard Lake, from that neighborhood. It's a open field right now, or that site, but, so that will be on the docket.
Wasn't there supposed to be a car repair place on West Blue Lick? Wasn't there a car repair place gonna be on? Is that on, remember that? No, I know what these are, yeah, but I'm thinking, just remember that there was something close to Mallard Lake, they were supposed to have something there too.
It's right next to Landing Apartments. It's next to.
I know what, yeah, that one is. All right.
Yeah, it's surprisingly close to the Dollar General that's already on 44, just, so it's,
Well, you gotta have them every
yeah, well, you know, if they're out of something on 44, you just drive on.
A kid will get killed across Main Street when they're jumping.
I will say that in terms of, you know, I don't do site development, I'm a transportation engineer, but I've worked closely with them. I do feel that the site designs for Dollar Generals tend to be, you'd think it was beyond the cheap, but they have concrete parking lots, they tend to not try to, I'll say, push the envelope in terms of like not building this or that. So which is I'll say surprising, but, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, I would like to probably get an update on the, storm sewer infrastructure going in the park, and what in terms of what future phases are, how far that goes. Because I think in terms of future development, we need to be, I don't know, are we stopping at 44, or is it going further?
No, it's going West Blue Lick, it's gonna go.
It's gonna go all
It's
the
gonna
way
go
to
through the
West
two
Blue Lick.
schools. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a $4 million project.
So,
Yeah.
I think, I'd like to see, any drawings we have, I'd like to see before this meeting, because that's, we need to be thinking in terms of the entire corridor there, of how, you know, even
We gotta
if,
release that water on West Blue Lick, that's the problem. That's 20% of the problem for the city right there. So that water
So-
just settles and goes both ways on that road, instead of going actually do any kind of road drainage.
anything we can do to leverage that work through private development, and even if it means that maybe a private developer has to go continue a line off-site to get to that new storm sewer, I think there's potentially opportunities there to,
Well, most of
Get
that
some
drainage on
public-
the left side of that road all the way up is just horrible. There's really no, it's not even a real conducive flow to even get down into that area. It just kind of just migrates itself inward on both sides of that road. So if we can get it to flow there and then go between the schools, it's the clearest path right
Yeah.
through the schools, where they've got a little bit of utility area that I know Scott's concerned about, but we know that's it, and they're working on designs on it now. We're just waiting for our permits in the park.
okay.
We've been waiting that 4
I guess,
weeks.
is it more of like a design-build contract, is the contractor actually designing
The actual line?
yeah,
Yeah, well, you got the 96-inch line in the park. This one, I think, is not quite that big.
Okay.
It's either 40, don't quote me, I don't know if it's 48 or 72, but I know it's not as
Okay.
big as the 96. That
Well-
actually ties into the one on 44.
the better, more familiar I can be with what's actually being
You know, the
designed.
good thing for you is just reach out to Arthur
Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving you basic information. He may give you a little bit more in depth on it, but that's a lot of the 30,000-foot view on this.
okay.
But I think that's a critical part. But there's going to be so much more with just the way it's lined up. You can even look at Conestoga and look at the drainage. That's obviously some work that needs to be done there too. So a lot of opportunity with that.
Well, and so the more I understand about what's going on and what's planned on the
Yeah,
public side,
absolutely.
the more we can leverage private development to get public infrastructure paid for.
You need Scott Northrup because Scott obviously doesn't want to see water get into the sewer. Okay? He doesn't want to see that. So he's going to let you know that. So he's a good one to talk to as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that though. All right.
So I guess that's all I have.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
No, Jeremy, we appreciate it. But listen, I'm sure if they've got a question, they'll email you or call you. They got your number.
Hey, Jeremy, I know on Beech Grove Road, you said there wasn't a whole lot of discussion, but was there any questions asked about the density of that development, just the sheer number of units?
There was, and that was, I guess, the discussion was that based on the guidelines or the definitions within our zoning or rule or regulations, that they fit within the low-density residential development. That was I think the response from, I think it was when last, or trying to think which attorneys which. I think it was Ms. Vessels.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that made it into the minutes, but that was, I do remember that was the question about whether that was actually low density, and that was, I think or I'm sorry, medium density. Sorry.
But putting that in with Oak Grove,
Mhm.
putting that into Oak Grove subdivision technically, if it doesn't fit the HOA plan, they can't build it, can they? They can't have it go into a neighborhood when it doesn't fit the neighborhood plan.
It's on a
Is that part of the actual
Yes, it
platted,
is.
or like within the
I went out and
rules of
read
the
their
HOA?
HOA guidelines, and it's single-family residential in that neighborhood. So if that neighborhood says single-family residential only, can they put those driveways in their neighborhood?
And
So-
can
That property's not
can they
affected
remove their
HOA.
fence?
That,
Because
it is.
it belongs
That's
to-
why there's a fence. They own the fence.
They don't own that fence. That
That-
fence is either
that puts
on,
them- that
that
puts them
fence
in
is
the
either
neighborhood.
on the people that are trying to rezone their property, or it's in an easement.
Well, I was talking to the HOA people, and that's,
That's HOAs.
that,
Yeah.
Of all that.
yeah,
That's
that's
the
theirs.
fence.
That's
All
their
the
entrance.
Is HOAs, and once we connect to it, it becomes ours.
Yeah.
So that's between the builder and them, but this property currently doesn't belong to the HOA.
We pay for it.
Well, not the property, but once you put it into
They're
the
gonna be
neighborhood,
impeding on them. Yeah.
you're putting it into the neighborhood technically.
Depends
Well-
on where their mailbox would be.
I don't
Are you-
know.
Because if their mailbox is on our street, then it becomes our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or the post office.
Are you saying because they're tying to the street itself?
They're tying
'Cause-
to the technically, they're tying to the
Oh.
neighborhood, because there's an entrance, right? That's the entrance to the neighborhood
Right,
that is under HOA.
my assumption would be that the right-of-way for the street itself is publicly owned, so would not be subject to the rules of the HOA. So I would be surprised if connecting to a public street, which is public right-of-way, the city maintains that pavement, right?
We have
So-
that in the easements on both sides.
Yeah, because you can have or a subdivision or a development with private right-of-way where the owner of the property maintains the pavement or, the road itself. But in this case, if the city took over maintenance of the road itself and the storm sewer,
And we do.
that is public right-of-way. So it's from right-of-way line to right-of-way line, or so, the HOA does not own that. So
Well, the
I
HOA
would-
was shocked that not one person has contacted them. Nobody.
It's like 60 feet in one spot, because it's like a big triangle between the fence and the road, 60 feet, so that's way beyond the easement.
Yeah.
So, I guess, it would be, if the property itself, I guess the question was, by tying into the road, are you not tying yourself to the rules of the HOA? but you're tying the property itself by they're connecting to public right of way, not to the HOA. So I wouldn't think that would be, but I mean, to me, I guess that's more of a legal opinion. I don't know that I'm,
Well, what we'll do is we'll reach out to the developers and make sure this question gets to them, all right, for both the housing and for the developers to know and to make sure we get better information. They're gonna be back on August 11th.
that's, okay.
That's
August
on-
11th city council meeting?
Yeah, so they'll be here for that, so we'll
First
reach out to them. Yeah, we'll reach out to them for the first reading.
I have another.
No, it's just, it's,
No, it's another hearing because they made
They made
changes.
Make
Oh, well,
changes.
that's even better.
They changed their
So,
plans.
they've
I
made
won't be at
changes,
that
so
meeting,
we're
so-
doing another
yeah, that's
public
what I'm
hearing,
saying,
for another whole discussion on it.
That's even
Fine.
better, yeah.
Good question.
so we'll have it on August 11th, if you wanna mark it on your calendar. I know you're here today.
Emily,
Yes, you
Absolutely,
are.
absolutely.
Yes.
Emily Vessels put in her email that she sent to us in this, where they made changes, they removed one of the buildings. Says we also will agree to include in the HOH restrictions that there is no off-street parking allowed on Oak Grove Boulevard. Trash cans must be returned within 24 hours of pickup. So I'm assuming that there's going to be an HOA just for these townhomes?
I don't think
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
discussed.
It
But-
just depends, I mean, that's not automatic HOA.
It's not automatic, but it sounds like they're offering to have an HOA.
Well, and so one of the questions I had, and I'm not sure if it made it into the minutes, I was concerned that, if maintenance was gonna be jointly, or if maintenance was going to be jointly funded by the residents there, because I think that with it being such small lots, somebody moves to a property like that, you're not looking to do a lot of maintenance, and it's kind of a burden to have a lawnmower and all that for such a small area. So they did not have any plans for that to be jointly maintained but I think for a site like that, I would probably argue for that. And it would, I think, help alleviate some of the concerns of the neighborhood that
Should be.
if maintenance was already taken care of by a board or by some type of association of the owners.
We'll bring those, I'll make sure that they know about both those. That
And I
HOA.
did bring it up to that, like,
You did?
at the meeting itself, but, they weren't bound to that. It was just, that was, say, a suggestion. But
We're gonna find out about the property pieces in this, and then we'll also mention the HOA again.
Yeah,
We'll make sure
I don't have a firm, I guess, informed opinion on whether the HOA would.
It would be in the best
help.
interest of those people living there to put something together that they could have a
I-
shared
yeah,
cost.
I think, that there would be some type of oversight for that particular block, but I don't know that they would be subject to the rules of the original
No.
HOA. I don't
No.
think that would be.
No, they would not. No, they would not.
One
But-
thing about the fence, I don't think we have an argument there because once you turn a fence like smooth side toward you, like privacy fence, it becomes the neighbor's fence. There's some kind of law like that?
No,
I think there is.
no.
That's just
I called and
courtesy.
asked that.
Yeah, there's no law for that. That's still your fence. It wouldn't be trading the fence. It would be
Thoughtful
changing it.
practice.
There's nothing like that
Yeah.
in Bullock County,
Okay. Well, then never mind.
because I try to fight that.
I think I saw it on Judge Judy's.
It might have been, I wish we had Judge Judy here.
No, we don't need to. Jeremy, thank you so much, but make sure we'll reach out to them and we'll make sure that they get this discussion. And August 11th for everybody back here, make sure you guys are here for that. It'll be 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock again. All right,
All right. Well,
Thank you,
all
Jimmy.
Have a wonderful
all right,
evening.
you can leave it on, I'm gonna have Laura come up here for a minute. Although I asked Laura to come back here to this meeting, just to make sure, just to say hey again to you. She sent me an itemized list. And I really just want her to go over, because she had mentioned to me what they're doing, and for the $2,000 that we're gonna issue in September to the different organizations, Laura's organization, we wanted to contribute to them. They do a lot of good stuff. We're really happy with what you do. You're very involved. And we wanna make sure that when we get our amphitheater, we'll bring you out to do the same good stuff you do out there.
I would love to.
We'd love to have you. But anyway,
Yeah.
if you just want to just briefly go over again, remember, this piece is about the rehab and the transition of folks in it. So we have to figure out what your piece is, and that has to be a part that we can fund.
Okay, so what we do, we usually do it in August because that is fentanyl awareness and drug overdose awareness month. It's also Morgan's birthday. So we do an event in August. This year's gonna be the 17th. And we have probably 25 resource tables come. And those resource tables are anyone from Robert Alexander Center, Isaiah House, to counseling for angel parents that need counseling. So we kind of have a variety of everyone there. So if you are or if you want recovery, someone there can help you. You can come to our event and get help. Or if you need counseling for the loss of a child or a loved one, then you can also reach out to someone there. So at our event, we have speakers come, and we do just a very small walk around the park. We have signs that show if you're in recovery, you can put your recovery date on there, or if you lost a loved one, you can show who you're walking for. But it's just, I didn't think anybody in Bullitt County did this when we lost Morgan, so we just wanted to do this. So I think a lot of angel parents are scared their child's gonna be forgotten, and they don't want their child forgotten. So this is an event that they can come and we can remember everyone's child. So at this event, I have never had a nice tent because everything we spend, we have to raise. So we give out 4 scholarships a year. If we don't have that money in our bank account, I'll pay for those. So I've never been able to buy a nice tent, the purple tent with Morgan's Missions logo on it. So I got a price from Joe for that. And then also at our event, we pass out their postcards, and it tells about fentanyl poisoning, and then the wristbands, the little plastic things, and then we do pens. So
I want to make sure for the council, when we look at always how we do things, we can say, well, it is a tent, but the tent actually serves the purpose of the event. Because of the grants.
And
we just-
I also go to other events. And I'll be
And
able to
that's
use
what
it.
I was
And then
getting-
they'll be able to see, instead of my $40 blue tent I bought at Walmart.
No.
They'll be able to see who I am when I go to these other
Yeah,
events.
so I told her yes, I told her we would do that, so I
yeah.
just wanted you guys to hear that
Outreach
because.
is important.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's the biggest piece, because it's a different venue, the way you guys are doing it versus the standard, hey, drugs are bad. Well, you're appealing, you're dealing with experiences, you're doing things to really get people's attention. You've probably put more awareness in the last couple of years than most, right? So we wanna make sure that we support you. First of all, you're local. First of all, we know your passions out there and the things that you've done, you're making an impact. So I know the council would not have an issue, but I wanna make sure specifically for all people we give money to, we will do really proper documentation for you guys. I wanna make sure you know, we wanna dot every I, we know we're supporting you, and so it's a yes, but I'll get all that taken care of September.
Okay.
And then we'll come back, we'll bring everybody back in, we'll be issuing you a big check and then a real check,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
All right, well, Laura, thank you for coming in.
Congratulations.
We're glad you're here. Thank you for coming in.
Do I have to turn this off?
All right, real quick, before we get into our
Yes.
first,
There you
yeah,
go.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Hey, I just want to make sure, I do want a little shout out for Warrior Rounds. They actually did something this Saturday. They had a big parade. They actually went through the side roads. It was really great. And they had a bunch of the Jeeps and got to meet a lot of fine folks and veterans, motorcycles. And then they actually had something in the park, actually on Farmers Market. And they did a really nice job. It was extremely hot. We've had some very hot weather. And I think there were 6 car shows going on Saturday. But even with surprising everything they did, they were actually issuing checks to both the police department for their foundation for $400, and they actually gave $400 to the Cabero Foundation, which supports 3 kids that can go next year for season passes. So it's just a start. We have already committed over $40,000. I'm not sure if I've said that already, but we've got commitments already from big businesses already for $40,000. That means 350 kids will get a 12-pass visit to go to the outdoor pool during the summertime. So we're gonna make sure those kids are taken care of. We're gonna work through the schools to work that program. It's not so much that we wanna focus on just the lower income piece. We want you all to know we're doing that. We want Johnny, who's always in school, or Sally, who's a great teacher's aide, right? Whoever we wanna reward them for something, so they go home and tell mom and dad, look what I got today. And so they're gonna have a great time like all the other kids as far as enjoying their experience. So I wanted you all to know that. We do a lot of things like that. But Warrior Rounds did a great job. Chief, obviously, he brought checks for both of us today, and we appreciate that because what they do for the police department is really important as well, taking care of the rank and file. So I wanted to tell you that. Just real quick about the skate park, it's moving along out here, and also for you all to know, Alan, Blair, Holden Turner, Willie, Robert, and Chris, these 5 guys have done a great job with these kids here for teaching them how to skateboard. It's really phenomenal to watch. You'll never see me on one. But it was fun to watch it. The kids are having a good time, and then by the time that this opens, they should be able to get right up on there and have a good time with it. So I want to share that with you. Sorry, and that's now old business. Miss Catherine, 025-024.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance 025024, and ordinance amending ordinance 025013, related to a personnel and pay rate classification plan for city employees and non-elected city officers for the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, sponsored by Councilmember Brad Whitaker. Summary, Section 1, ordinance 025013 is hereby amended. Section 2, Section 2 is amended to add the position, base pay rate, and authorized staffing level for the administrative department position of payroll clerk. Section 3, Section 3 is amended to authorize the Public Works Department to have a maximum of 8 full-time Public Works Maintenance 1 and Public Works Maintenance 2 employees combined. Section 4, Section 6 is amended to authorize 1 staffing level for the Police Department position of lieutenant. Section 6 is further amended to authorize the Police Department to have a maximum of 42 full-time officer and officer recruit positions combined. Section 5 sets forth the severability clause. Section 6 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 7 sets forth the publication requirement.
All right, I know we're doing some work, Brad, appreciate all your work on this, just to make sure that we identify the things we want to make sure that's in the budgetary process for you guys. And I will just tell you this, when in doubt at all, anything we're doing on staffing wise, we're going to come to you. From now till the next budget, anything comes up, we'll probably just throw it at you and talk about it, make sure. Again, we've got a process here, but I want to make sure if there's anything else that you guys want to discuss this. But I appreciate everybody getting through this. We want to get this off our plate and move on. Any questions from anybody?
Is anybody at the maximum?
With the new rates we put on there, no, right? We moved the 2 up. Yeah, I moved them up on the. Yeah, so we don't have it. I think there was 2 individuals, one in code enforcement and one was the other one was close. And then we moved we forecasted the rates up, but they haven't moved from what they're at. Okay.
I just wondered how long this maximum will stay in effect on that.
It's projected out.
In effect now,
Yeah.
but like next year,
It's projected for 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, like, we wanted to get far enough out that we didn't have to do this same ordinance every year. So it's out there, so we would continue to keep up with the raises. So in 3 years from now, they'll hit those numbers and we'll have to go do this process again. Okay? All right, I need a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Bonnie?
On the one for Public Works,
Huh?
is that a change? Are we adding, or is that,
So, yes and no, Bonnie, that's, it was a clerical error. I think on the original, we had 2 and 2 or something. We didn't even have the numbers that he had, total employees, partly, so that was a clerical.
Oh, yeah, they had the wrong number on the number. of public
Right.
works.
okay.
Does that make sense? And so, and then we decided to combine because kind of like what Brad thought about with the assistant chiefs in terms of EMT and versus whatever else. In other words, sometimes Tom might have 5 maintenance 1 and 3 maintenance 2 or switch it. And it just gives them a little bit more flexibility of, okay, how can I manage it? But 8 total employees is
Okay.
what it would be. Does that make sense? So,
And just, I know we're getting way
and
ahead
that's
of-
what he currently has, is my understanding. So,
And not to get too ahead of ourselves, but next year's budget in January, February, we're working on having our own parks director. It won't have a lot of budget, it'll be a small budget, but we need to get that started, to start its own department. So yeah, but it's gonna be, we'll have that, I'm working on payroll now, I'm looking at some of that stuff. But I'll have something for you in January, February to look at, and then we can tweak it and talk about it. Okay? Because it needs to be its own. Long-term, it will be that. Okay? I need a motion, please.
I'll motion.
All right, motion, second.
Second.
Second by Rob. Miss Brenda?
Rob,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Faith,
I'm going to abstain since I was not here to vote on that in the beginning, so I don't think I should vote on the amendment.
okay, Brad,
Yes.
Mike,
yes,
and Bonnie.
Yes.
All right, council, thank you. All right, new business for us. Ms. Catherine's gonna read 025-02, let's do the presentation.
You wanna do that first?
Yep.
All right.
Come on up here, Mr. Wynn. Before we read this, we wanna make sure that the presentation, and bring all the fine folks up here if you want to, bring them all up here, just push that button on the top there. Obviously, I would like you guys to introduce yourself. I know you've been here before, we've seen you fine folks here. But if you will, Luann, if you push the button on top, turn it green. Nope, towards you, just towards you.
Closer.
There you
There
go.
you go.
If you will, everybody will
Wasn't
introduce
as hard as
themselves,
it looked.
and we'll let you be the celebrity guest and do whatever you do.
I like that, celebrity guest.
You are.
I'm Lou Ann Moore with Century 21 Advantage Plus. I think I know pretty much everybody on the city council. I'm here, my role is representing the seller and the buyer in this transaction. The seller is Rhonda Dennison. She acquired this property by will, has lived there for a very long time, and now it's been deeded into her name. Put it up for sale. Our builders, CDF Builders, that I think everybody is aware of if you've been down Highway 61 going south. They started the subdivision called Helen Heights that you also graciously annexed into the city about 2 years ago. So far, I think that there are 35 houses that have been sold out of 90. So they are killing it there, and the houses are very quality built, and we've had no problems whatsoever. So Rhonda is going to turn this over to CDF. If you have any questions, I've got a little handout for you just to give you kind of an idea of where it's at. If you have any questions for Rhonda, and I think CDF has got pretty much all the information, if we can
Yeah.
defer to them.
So we do understand, that this is the owner that want to sell the property, and this is not a property that's in the city. So that they're wanting to annex this piece for their development, so they'll do their part. Definitely want to make sure we introduce you first and tell us just a little quick bit about you. And,
Yeah, I'm
Oh.
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't hear what you said.
oh, I just want to tell her to say hi and just let people know who she is and if she
Yes.
wants to.
I think she wants to turn it over to CDF to
Okay.
explain why they want the annexation, and
Okay.
if it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Pass them out real quick.
Yeah, got a few new faces here, so I just want to introduce myself, kind of give a little bit of a rundown on it. Daniel Green with CDF Builders. We also own New Haven Properties and GNR Holdings, which all three businesses do business here in Shepherdsville and the Bullitt County markets. You know, we've been building for 25 years here in Shepherdsville. It's where we got our start at. We've built some apartments here in Shepherdsville already. It's down on Shannon Lane, so we got 24 apartments down there. So we currently have several rental houses in Shepherdsville. So you know, we love the community, we love the area, and look forward to doing you know, more great things here. It's just a lot of great opportunities in this area, and we want to be a part of it.
Yep. Do y'all see where it is? Where the actual property is? It's right behind the country market, right there, 245 and 61.
I
Make sure
have
you
a
say-
few questions. I talked to Lou Ann last night, so she answered a lot of questions, but I do have a few. Just to confirm on record, it's B2, right?
B1.
B1.
Right now.
So
It's
B1 right now.
currently
So it
zoned
had to be
B1.
rezoned.
We would like to get it, you know, in the process later on, we would like to have it rezoned R3.
Okay. I do have one concern about the easement on the 61 side. It's a 10-year plan to have it widened.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering if it's accounted for.
We're not necessarily aware of the widening on that, but we did take into consideration that that's gonna be a left turn into the into that property, and that any oncoming traffic, you would stop it. So unlike Helen Heights, you know, most of the traffic we feel like is coming from the north heading south, so, you know, you don't stop traffic when you're turning right. So we are taking into account to doing a turning lane, so we've already had, you know, one of our guys that do our development work to look at what it's gonna take to put a turning lane in, what it's gonna take to go across, to attach to the sewers, and, you know, to deal with the, you know, a lot of the basic development issues that we got. So we do realize that it's gonna need a turning lane, and we're taking that into consideration on our project, there, so.
And that's two
that we-
buildings. Is that two buildings that you put back in? On the apartments, how many buildings are?
So we're looking to do 3 24-plexes and then 2
Okay.
4-plexes, so it'd be a
Gotcha.
total of, you know, of, was it, 80
Okay.
apartments, yeah.
So how far back the property is that gonna go?
Should be the drawing, yeah, there's a drawing, so, yeah.
Because I don't know if you're aware of it, but there's a home back there.
Not on that property,
No, on the property next to it, right on the property line.
yes.
I was back there today.
Yeah, I mean, it's already zoned B2, B1, so I mean, you could put a business back there just the same, I mean,
Right,
yeah.
I'm
And
aware
that's
of that.
actually, that's part of your, did you see that as
Yeah,
part
I see
of
it
the
now.
exhibit?
Yeah. Yeah, it's right on the property line of the home next door. So,
Is there room to possibly move those back away from 61 a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big, you know, you see that first building, and there's the parking lot, and then because we gotta leave so much green space, right? That's part of the.
Yeah.
the
I
zoning
noticed
rules
that.
there.
I
So,
didn't know if
mean,
it was
we
floodplain or
We
whatever.
could have a little bit of green space up front and just scoot that back some, have a little bit less green space in the back, yeah. And, you know, so this is, you know, because that's fairly close to where 245 comes out at. I mean, if we needed to, you feel like we needed to move the entrance, you know, a little further south, we can still do that. I mean, this is some preliminary plans. We just try to get something out there for you guys to get some kind of idea of what we're looking to do, you know.
This is the annexation piece. They would come back to
Yeah.
the planning and zoning and tweak it.
Yeah.
He just
Can
wants
we,
to show
can we
you.
not contact, joining homeowners that they're wanting to annex it? Because there's no signs. I went out there today. Nobody on either side was aware of it.
Oh,
No, we don't have to,
We
they don't
should.
have standing to, with respect to annexations,
It's
because
the planning and zoning piece.
this only affects that piece of property. So as long as that property owner is requesting it, then the notice and the wait time and all that, we do not have to do.
Well, I wouldn't be happy about that if I lived next door. Just saying, we should contact them.
At this point, I mean, obviously what they're building, once they get to the annexation piece, the planning and zoning happens there and it happens here. So they'll get their opportunity to see
Yeah,
what they.
after the fact.
Well, but it's after the fact they're building a resident piece, but they can also look at how you, like you said, moving from this side, because you're gonna deal with an easement issue somewhere down in the next 10 years. From all of that, from 61, just for what's happening north of you as it migrates towards
Yeah.
112 there, 245.
So the sewers is gonna run under the road across?
Yes.
That's gonna cost.
Yeah, we're aware of that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we say, we talk with our, guy that does all of our excavating work and all that sort of stuff, yeah, we're aware of
What's the
that.
square footage of these apartments? Just out of curiosity, you're just guessing,
Yeah, about 1,100 square foot, so it'll be 2 bedroom, two bath apartments. And then the fourplexes will be, two bedroom, 1 bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the average rent?
What's that?
What's gonna be the average rent?
So,
The average rent on the fourplexes, the smaller units will be somewhere around $11.50, and then the bigger units will be $1,400.
For the reason?
What's that? 13 or 14, you know, it depends on, we've got a lot of numbers to crunch to
Yeah,
get
actually,
the
you're just getting
final
rough numbers. This is not, they're gonna hold you to it.
Right.
Not gonna hold you to that numbers. You got, because you got construction costs, you gotta get started with this.
Yeah.
Once you put a shovel in the ground,
And you all will be the owners?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
you're developing it to keep it?
yes,
in-
yes,
You're not selling it?
no.
Okay.
Are you all the ones that did the homes over in Riverview?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah, yeah, at the end of Riverview, yeah, that project turned out really nice, I
did,
thought. I
yeah.
thought that really, you know, it was a dead end, it didn't have a turnaround area, so we put the hammerhead in there, give them a spot for the buses and the emergency vehicles to turn around, that kind of stuff, so I think we ended that, helped solve a problem there at that end of that street.
you know,
And some really nice looking houses too.
I appreciate, first of all, you're local. I appreciate you wanna build houses.
Yeah,
To build housing for folks. That's an important part for the city.
yeah.
Is it okay if they tell you their role in bringing those sewers down to Helen Heights?
They can, for everybody who may not know it. I mean, there's obviously a partnership that you had with the city before I came to office.
Yeah, so when we were looking to do that development, you know, of course, it would be cheaper for us to have put in a pump station there at Helen Heights and just pumped it up to the manhole right up there by the UPS building. But the city was wanting us to have that, was wanting to try to gravity flow that sewer as far as possible, you know, up, you know, south on 61. So we partnered with Alter and we put those sewers in through some crazy rock, some crazy hard rock, and put a lot of expense, depths, some really deep depths, put in larger
The line.
pipe. We
That's
put
it.
in a 12-inch pipe instead of an 8-inch pipe. And so we, you know, we worked with partnership with the city to help extend those sewers out and
That's a
kept
big
you out
deal.
from having another pump station, and then, you know, helped to extend, you know, add capacity there for you guys to develop further down the line and make it easier for
We always have these
others to hook to it.
we have these categories we're always thinking about, right? Aesthetics, first of all, it's housing. Second of all, we talk about water, not the issue. And then traffic, they come right on 112 and go north and south, which changes the dynamics for us, because we're always gonna be traffic and water are gonna be our two challenges. And as those things, as we get allocated money from state and federal level to do some of these things, we've gotta get creative. And so that development, that was on a comprehensive plan of being commercial and leaving light industrial through there, is not changed. It's already becoming the residential piece that actually accents to the city, and it actually does the traffic on on 245 instead of coming up to 116, 117. So I mean, that's really important. From our standpoint, looking at our growth the next 5 and 10 years, we've got to be creative of when we want to bring in housing and bring in more folks here. We've got to be able to be like this. It's just a great fit for us as far as looking where it's at and the traffic, where it goes. And it's going to keep developing that. From right there, 245 south on Preston, is going to be at least the next mile. You're going to see more of that housing piece going to play. But we appreciate what you guys do.
So is there a deal now with the sewers? You were saying they made a deal with the sewers?
No, they did it when they did the
Are y'all
Helen
making a
Heights.
deal now?
Well, no,
Okay.
this is their deal. But the first deal was the extension to bring it that far. That's instrumental,
Yeah,
because
that
when
was
you
like
take
a
it from the
half a
UPS
mile.
that way, yes.
We
it's-
added it through the first section all the way to the far side of the property. We could have stopped that
Mm-hmm.
12-inch main at the beginning of the property, but we run it through the neighborhood to the far end of the property.
Which means you can
So that it
extend
can be tapped onto and extended
Extend it.
further down the line.
Yeah.
And with us taking it across the street here with the resort kind of project that's been announced, that makes it a little more accessible, a little more doable for
Not as
any
expensive for
future
them.
plans on that side of the street as
Yeah.
well. They now have a closer tap to get to. So this is a
There's
future
cross
plan.
point, so now
But
it
that's
creates.
county, that's not.
Well, yeah, but it's for
It's
the city
future
growth.
growth.
For-
It's gonna be there for other people to tap
For
onto.
the
We
city
will
to
have
No,
it
it's,
there. And there's other land, in that area that has potential for future development growth.
And future annexation.
I have a question on, is there going to be any type of fencing or anything around this since there's homeowners around this?
We hadn't really discussed any of that at this point. Wasn't necessarily planning on doing a fencing.
These would be pretty nice looking apartments, I mean.
Well,
Yeah, we'll get
I'm
you a
sure of
drawing
that,
and
I've seen
everything.
you
There'll be some
work.
tree lines, is there?
It's the fact that if I owned a house, what I thought was out in the country, and I got apartments building up next to me, I don't want the people in the apartments coming on my property.
Right.
So, I-
If I can just have a comment, right now you've got, commercial one. And so from planning and zoning guidelines, if you have a commercial use and it's next to a residential use, then there is gonna be a fence up. These gentlemen are hoping to change it to a residential 3, which would be the proper zoning to go in here. But if you look at this, there's never been a fence up other than a farm fence. There's commercial uses next door that's grandfathered in. And there's never been a fence up.
well, but
So-
that's in
There's tree
between.
lines, though. I was there today. There's good tree lines. You can't see the dollar store or any of them from his home.
Yeah.
So he's got a buffer for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's residential.
I don't know if you can see it from this, I'm not for sure.
No, I don't think so, because here's his home, and then over here is where 245 is. Supermarket and a dollar store. You can't see him from his home
Right.
till you come out of the driveway.
Just a quick point, across the street is the big warehouse. That is part of the city, right? That's already
Mhm.
annexed into the city. So we're touching city by proximity. We're
Nobody's
not,
arguing that point,
Hmm.
Yeah, there's actually another little map in here showing how close this property is to the warehouses and, to the other commercial uses. That's down Highway 245.
That corridor on that side, that southeast side, is of the 61 is critical too, if you're looking at some of the things that were discussed in the comprehensive plan. And as we've brought it up a couple times in this council, we talked about it. The biggest thing is that dynamically, there's still some moving pieces. And we're trying to change that, because I think 10 years ago, they weren't talking about 61 having those warehouses that they've got now, right? Because of the land use, it's very limited what they could do with it, right? It's take a lot for a housing piece. But now we have areas that do have housing. Those are the ones that we want to focus our attention on, because some of that north of you, it can't be used for anything like that. But this can be, and that whole area can be, as you just mentioned, because you've got one house there, depending on how everybody looks at that property there, we can change that dynamic by just keep building what it is, and it's gonna change that commercial.
I think another really important factor to this is when you see these 3 industrial, they're between 800 and 1,000,000 square feet, and go on down a little bit north to Arvato, when you look at the sheer numbers of people that are working in those, and I think the last Bob Faust told me last year, we have 11 counties coming into, people from 11 different counties coming here to work.
Invest
If
in our
you
budget.
look at what the capacity is of workers that just those 5 buildings will hold, Arvado's 2 and these 3, you've got real potential of affordable housing with these apartments. So I think the spot is critical to help these people that are working in there full-time. U of L Health is paying very well, Arvado's paying very well, McKesson is paying very well. So affordable housing is important for this end of the county.
And if you're wanting to get restaurants and service industry in this area, you're gonna need the housing to support it. So this is one step in that right direction, so.
Now, we just think from a standpoint of it meeting the goals of some of the business models that we have for our city and our future growth, this is a good fit, because like I said, the biggest piece for me is the traffic piece. You're not going further north, you're getting right off on that exit, I mean, you're just making a right-hand turn in,
Family right on
and
65.
another right-hand turn just a few blocks up, and now you're on the 65.
Yeah.
Whether you wanna go to Blue Oval or go to Louisville to work, right? One of those things. So that really is, and that's starting to migrate. We're starting to see that people are looking at that as they move into these areas that are not from here. They need to find that affordable housing, but they also need to make sure they have a place that's close proximity to their work.
And we thought it was really important to, I know this is just an annexation meeting, but we thought it was really important for this council to realize what CDF and New Haven Homes, what are you gonna
New properties.
That's right.
You can probably,
That
you know,
corporation, is planning on doing here, because I think it's a very important piece that you all need to know when they come back, and ask for residential free zoning. You all are gonna understand what they're planning on doing with this. So obviously, we can't do what they're wanting to do without the annexation and without the sewers that they helped run. So they're just basically going to add on to the sewers that they ran down to their subdivision.
And I would say appreciates that, because it really does. Our future looks really good in that area as far as the residential piece for us. I'm pretty
I
excited
wanna make
about
a
that.
suggestion if that's okay. You know, it's just me, but I feel like if you're invading on another resident, you need to try to protect him. Now, there's a home on this side, and I do know there's a lot of trees over there, so you might not have to do that. He probably would never even know you're there. This guy will. And if I was you, just to be a good person, I would try to do some type of buffer of trees, something pretty. He has a handicapped son that has to look out the window. So, you know, give him something to look at. No, this one. This one right here, there's a lot of trees down through there.
I think that's a duplex. Is that a duplex on
No.
the bottom?
This
So
is a
just
garage.
a preliminary drawing.
This
This
is-
is just something we can kind of
Yeah.
put together. So
Well, I'm
with-
just making
with the green space
suggestions.
there, the way the hill, that building's gonna get pulled forward. I mean, this is just, to put that building back that far, the bank's going up pretty good. That building's gonna move forward. So
He's
it's
still-
gonna move
he's still
away
gonna
from-
see it
from
when
where
he's
you're
out in the
talking about.
yard.
Now, how much, I can't tell you, but I think there's room to pull some of that
Right.
away from what
I'm
you're
just,
doing.
you know, I
Yeah.
suggest putting some kind of shrubbery. It's not
Yeah.
expensive
Well,
at
we'll
all.
have
I got it on my
landscaping,
house.
we'll have a landscaping plan along with
Yeah.
the, with, when we do our full
Something where they don't have to
development
look
plan.
at it when they're out in the front yard,
Yeah.
you know, cars pulling in and out.
Yeah.
That's part of your
We'll
site
definitely
plan.
take note
You
of
got a
that,
site
yeah.
plan when you put your parking in, you're
Courtesy.
gonna have all that curb and gutter and stuff, and
I
you're
feel,
gonna have.
you know,
So, I don't know if you all do know, but they do have apartments on Shannon Lane.
Yeah.
That is to the back of Shannon Lane, that's very well maintained. Are those similar to the apartments that you're?
They'll be the, like the two little
Four
fourplexes,
places.
but these will be, you know, a little more upscale
Yeah.
from what those
These will
are.
be kind of similar to what Thomas Quinn had, those kind of type deals.
are these gonna be income-based too?
Are they what?
Income-based?
No,
No.
Okay.
you have to have good income to rent it.
Well, good, good, that's what we want.
That
Just don't
becomes
take care of
income,
it. Well, I would live living there.
What
then.
what are your other complexes besides Shannon Lane?
So we have a complex in Barstown that we just finished up. It's 76 units. It's a mix of townhomes and these fourplexes. And there's 4 different price points in those.
Where's it at?
You
In Bardstown, where's it at?
Pine View Drive.
Pine View Drive.
How do you drive?
Right. So it's on Bloomfield Road and,
Backs up to Fuji Seal on one side and the old rock quarries directly behind it.
I know where it's at. And just Shannon Lane in Shepherdsville, that's it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's ours.
And then there's homes on Riverview too, that they built, it's not apartments, but it's homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would invite you to come through Helen Heights every Sunday, 2 to 4. We're there. So come through and look at the
Well, I mean,
quality.
no, I wanna look at the apartments that they own. I don't want, the houses are maintained by the owners, so I wanna look at the apartment complexes.
What about the rent, or check on that rent too, make sure they don't skyrocket it after the building.
They can, what'd you say? The rent? Could you say that again?
Like the rent prices,
Huh?
to make sure they don't skyrocket them after the build. Because if they're saying that it's 1,300.
Well, they're not gonna know that.
The build will be 2,300 or something crazy to where we're not gonna get the people in.
Well, they wouldn't build it if they, I mean, they don't wanna go broke building these buildings. They're gonna they have to make a traffic, a certain amount of people have to buy those. So they're gonna, and this is what they do. So obviously what they've already done in the city and the different projects they've done, they've been consistent with their rates now. Yeah, the biggest thing is they couldn't give you an exact number because of the fact that, they don't know that, construction costs, we've seen that. I can see that from 1 year later, it's crazy stuff. It really is a moving target. But I do think that, we do try to keep that in mind, but I want everybody to understand that the business world does what it does. They're already thinking out that they couldn't outprice themselves. There are some people that have done that. We've seen people come here and don't have a good performer.
Oh, I respect their prices, because like I said, I'm a military here, and I delivered to some apartments that are not.
Oh, I know which ones you're talking about.
Outrageous.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and
Completely outrageous.
I think that the hardest part for a lot of this, for people that have seen it, is that it's unfortunately over the last 20 years, there's been a lot of what I call opportunity in the way that things were done here. I think you've seen that really in a short period of time, there's a lot more consideration towards what that water impact is when you start putting concrete and asphalt down. The other piece in this, the affordability piece is kind of, it's subjective. If they build it and they make it too pricey, guess what? They're gonna be stuck with a whole bunch of loss. They can't do that. The market will actually let them know what they do with this type of place, what they're gonna get from it, and Luann will tell you that. The market actually determines more of that than we think, because they won't make any money. They'll do all that work and have empty buildings.
And there's a supply and demand. If you've only got a limited number of apartments and people wanna live in those apartments here, they can skyrocket those
Yeah.
prices because there's no other options. So the more options you have, the more it does help to keep that competitive pricing.
Yeah, and Luann will tell you that a lot of times when people, and even developers that talk to us, they always talk about that, we're looking at this kind of labor force to come in. They'll say, hey, what kind of housing you got? We're working on it. And I probably get that at least a couple times a week, where you at with your housing? And that's a big thing. That's why we focus on it a lot, because we do actually see that the things, that the way the city has grown over the last couple of years, the way they've seen, people are now looking at, why not Shepherdsville? And especially if the job opportunities with some of the industrial park and some of these new things coming up. I mean, again, we talked about Arvato and Vista. I mean, you got Humana here, you got UPS. So you got some big time players that are here. These people will make a difference in bringing these folks here, but you gotta have a place to live. And that's what we've struggled with, really. And it's a good thing to be thinking about, but you guys are out in front of it, and we appreciate you and everybody else that wants to build houses in our neighborhoods.
I think the last comment that I would have is, I've been representing these two gentlemen since they remodeled their first house in Shepherdsville, which is 30 years.
You guys aren't that old.
Long
Do you
time.
feel it all the time? You feel it all the time? No, it's okay.
I
You
can
guys
tell
work
you,
hard.
Yeah, they're getting a little older.
What?
They look really young.
Yeah.
But they're proven, and they've proven themselves in Shepherdsville. This has been the main spot that they were building, for a very long time. So it's not like bringing somebody new in here that is not proven. These guys are.
Yeah, you're invested, and I'll just say this.
We got roots.
Yeah,
We
you've
got
been,
roots
you
in
got
the
roots here.
community. Yeah.
We'd like, I mean, there are other developers that might come in that don't know a whole lot about us, but you guys are here, you've been here, you've put your money back into this community. That
We've
means a
seen
lot
some
to us.
incredible changes here in the city and just lots and lots of improvement, so.
Yeah, appreciate
We get
that.
excited about that as well.
Yes, sir.
We're
Well, we
looking to
appreciate
be
that.
here and do more. I mean, that's.
Oh, we're gonna try to keep you busy. We're gonna try to keep you busy. But we appreciate what you did, and again, looking at the future for the city, you are part of that. And that's a great point to bring that up again. I mean, it is important that we see our growth, but housing is a big factor to us, so.
To let the public know, though, we do have some coming up on Saltwell Drive and Buckman Street, some apartments, so just to let you all know, there is some in plans.
Any other questions? Good? Thank you all. Oh, on the annexation piece, this is. They do the planning and zoning piece. All right. So, Ms. Kaplan, 025-025.
City of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, ordinance
Thank you,
number
guys.
025-025, an ordinance pursuant to KRS 81A.412, annexing into the City of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, by consent of all property owners, a parcel of real estate currently owned by Rhonda Dennison, consisting of 5.0 acres more or less, located at and known as 5228 South Preston Highway, Lebanon Junction, Bullitt County, Kentucky, having parcel ID 04C0009001, as more particularly described and illustrated in and on exhibits to this ordinance. Sponsored by Councilmember Mike Timmer. Summary. Section 1 sets forth a description of the property, which is the subject of this ordinance, as real estate consisting of 5.0 acres more or less, located at and known as 5228 South Preston Highway, Lebanon Junction, Kentucky, 40150, parcel ID 04C0009001, conveyed to Rhonda Dennison in Bullitt County Deed Book 1135, page 779, hereinafter property. Section 2 incorporates by reference the exhibits that describe and illustrate the property. Section 3 sets forth that the property is adjacent to the city's boundaries and is urban in character and suitable for development for urban purposes. Section 4 sets forth that the owner of record of the property has given prior written consent and that the city enacts a single ordinance annexing the property. Section 5 sets forth that the property is annexed into the city limits of the city of Shepherdsville. Section 6 sets forth that after annexation, the property will remain subject to the same land use restrictions as applied by the Bullitt County Fiscal Court prior to annexation. Section 7 sets forth the severability clause. Section 8 sets forth the repeal of prior ordinances in conflict with this ordinance. Section 9 sets forth the publication requirement.
All right. And we'll have our second reading on August the 11th. Guys have any further questions? Louanne, well, I mean, if they need your information, I'll make sure they get it. If they have any other questions for you guys, but we'll make sure that we'll get them to you. All right? All right, no executive session. Planning and zoning, obviously, we had, I didn't get anything from Dwayne. I think we're obviously squared away. I have my two fine folks in the back. Hey, Chief Police, would you come on up here, Steve? I didn't call him, no, I said please. I wouldn't call him Steve. Chief Steve. Chief Steve. How you doing, Chief?
Doing well tonight. How are you all doing?
Doing good, man.
Just wanted just a couple things to report. Both of them are good news. Want to thank Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman. His group, once he got in office, was to start pushing, trying to get every officer a bulletproof vest in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. We put in for some several months ago. I'm glad to report we've started getting them in. They've provided us with 25 sets of panels, which is 50 panels, which is probably worth about $25,000–$30,000 provided to our officers that we don't have to come out of our budget right now to use for something else. They're coming tomorrow to fit everybody with ballistic helmets, and that's probably another $40,000 to $50,000. So, you know, we're going to be taken care of this year, and we've also already got one vest provided by them for one of our officers. So that's been a very good investment into us, and I just want to thank Russell Coleman and the Attorney General's office for getting that done, not only for us, but for every law enforcement agency in the state. So that's some good news. The other one is really what I've been pushing is this National Night Out next Tuesday night on August the 5th. It's from 6 to 8:30. Hope all of you all can push out to your family, friends on your Facebook accounts. Anybody here to push it out. We've put some time and effort into trying to make this successful. We're going to have every police agency, fire department, EMS, the jail's going to set up, prosecutors, all that down at the park. Just kind of a meet and greet to come out and meet the first responders in Bullitt County. Typically, as this is just by department, we decided we try to push it this year to have everybody in one spot so that everybody in Bullitt County want to come out can see what's representative. There's going to be static displays. Thanks to the generosity of a lot of corporate donors and also some individuals, we're going to be able to provide 400 backpacks stuffed with school supplies for people. One benefactor is going to take care of 400 cups of Kona Ice. The first 400 are free that we've been able to provide. Chick-fil-A, Jersey Mike's going to be handing out gift cards. We've got about $800, $900 in gift cards and giveaways to people that we'll be raffling off, just giving to them for this event. So hopefully push out the word. We'll have a good turnout. I think the weather's supposed to break before next Tuesday and maybe stay in the 80s, so we can pray for that. So other than that, that's about all I have for tonight. If y'all got any questions.
What time?
6 to 8:30.
Delivery of flyer on your Facebook page?
They're already out, but we're gonna update one this week and push out to everybody else.
Yeah, and Amber has a bunch of stuff out there too. We've been trying to, we're all gonna share it. We've been trying to share that to get everybody know. It's, like I said, it'd be a good time to just get everybody out there. There are obviously some things that we give, some giveaways. It's supposed to get back to school. The next week is school, so a week after. Yeah, well, you know.
That's why we're putting it out there, free, 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 so.
The Kona
that's what
Ice,
they
right?
said
The
you'd
Kona
have to
Ice.
do, so.
Yeah, but I do think,
Can we celebrate my birthday that night?
Sure, come on up.
Steve will sing Steve will sing for you.
I will sing for you.
Then you know why he's a police chief.
Because I'm not
Gotcha.
making any money as a singer.
Yeah, but I do want you all to know, again, I do want you all to know about his foundation. We talked just a little bit about that. I know you've mentioned before, but, you know, you got to check like I did today for the
Sure,
foundation.
it's just, we got this started actually at the end of last year. We started as the Shepherdsville Police Foundation. It was brought up to try to basically do for equipment needs that come up, training, officer wellness, and community involvement. And we've tried to do on those 4 things, and we've done a pretty good job so far for the first year of raising some money for it. We're gonna start, a lot of this from, like I said, is we asked for corporate sponsors. They donated to the foundation. Foundation threw in quite a bit, and one of the people there, I think he wanted to remain anonymous, but he's the one with the Kona Ice, and he also threw in quite a bit of money on the supplies. So we'll be able to continue that on. We're already looking at a few other things after this. I know that they're gonna kind of work with our FOP and try to do a shop with the cop and bring that project back, which is, you know, we've gone a couple years without it. So it's there. If you wanna look, they're on Facebook, tells how you can donate or just kind of follow what they're doing. I foresee it's just gonna keep getting better, as we go on with it and get through this first year, and then we'll have some ideas for maybe some fundraiser and also how we wanna put it back into the community and help out with the officers, so.
No, I appreciate it. I think it's a good organization, like I said. I think the night out's gonna be a good night. Yeah, I think we've been talking a lot about that, but I think with all the counties coming here, it's gonna be a packed place. Seems like most of the events we put on in the park have been really well. So, well, we thank you. Thank you, Chief. Do you guys got any questions? Anybody got anything? Good? All right. You can leave it on for the celebrity. He's gonna come up and talk about his sign. What? Chief, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
Good, man. If you want to do yoga, I saw the rank and file doing some yoga with the chief. It was pretty good.
And you just kept walking around.
I did. I got my steps in, man. I did 4 miles. I had 4 miles in by 8:30 that day. So.
Yeah. A couple things for us. All good news except for one. I'll give you the bad news first. As always, the truck is probably, our fire engine is probably 98% totaled. I'll give you more information on the August meeting about that. We have opportunities to dive in, meaning a brand new truck, either September, October, or December. I'll pass that on to you all. Those opportunities for us to get a replacement quick for us. I'm going to the KFA conference this week, which is Kentucky Firefighters Association, and just to get more, just to get our name, Shepherdsville, to mentor throughout the entire state. It's pretty cool to just the news and what's going on in the fire commission and things that are going on out there. My guys are supporting any and all summer activities, from spraying kids down to sport or activities in the park to anything else we're asked to do. We're always out there. We just finished confined space training at Jim Beam. We put over 100 firemen through all the fermenters at Jim Beam, which are really cool if you've ever seen where bourbon was made. So we actually put them in real tanks and did confined space for the last couple weeks. We're looking at a fall smoke detector event, just kind of like we did one in the spring. We're ready to do one in the fall. We have detectors ready, and we'll just pick a Saturday morning to go out and go door to door like we did last time. Obviously, we'll throw it out there to let everybody know what's going on when we do that. And of course, Jennifer, thank you.
Oh, and Rob.
And Rob,
With me,
thank you.
Rob.
All right.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you all very
We'll
much
see
for that.
you all Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all for that. Questions for me?
Will you send all that information through email too?
Anything you want?
Because I won't be at the first meeting in August. I would like to have that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
You know, Chief, you're my favorite now after that comment by him. See, he just got himself in trouble. That's okay. Well, let's slide. It's about time we would just start him being second to him. Miss Brenda, do you have anything you want to add?
Not
Cat's doing good?
Cats are great.
All right,
Everybody's working hard.
yeah. Yeah, we got some stuff, obviously, we're gonna be finishing this up this next week, so we'll get that taken care of. All right, council members, any comments? Mike?
Yeah, I was gonna say they.
Yeah, I just, I had a couple of things, the last meeting got all confused at the end. but,
It's Brenda's fault.
They just had citizens had contacted me over a couple of things. One was striping on the road on Joby Hall
Yeah.
in front of Taco Bell and stuff like that.
They're working on it.
You can hardly see
Yeah.
those. And the other one was, you know, there's still, I don't know how much the police department sees it or whatever, or catches anybody, but apparently there's still a lot of people coming out of Wendy's, making a left-hand turn, and people coming up Adam Shepherd and making a left-hand turn into there. And,
Yeah, that's kind of, I haven't seen that too often, but I will tell you,
Actually see it at
yeah,
Kentucky Fried Chicken, I believe it was, Kentucky Fried Chicken. They did a U-turn. I've seen that too.
yeah.
Yes.
but the suggestion was that we put, if possible, some of those plastic barriers like they had in front of Lowe's for traffic control to help prevent.
Well, I can
left
tell you,
turns.
since we're doing that, we've dropped the accidents in there about like 90%. So they'll, yes, you still will have people do it, especially low volume times. They'll make that turn. I've actually
Just
seen it a
something
couple
to
times.
consider.
No,
you
I
know.
think what we need to do is what we did when we first did it, we actually put a police officer out there and gave a few tickets. And we may go back to doing that again. I know somebody would love to do that. Don't we, Chief? Don't we have, do you wanna do it?
I'll volunteer.
Catherine needs to have a police car. She'd like to be able to give, I mean,
Come on.
she would be tenacious at it. She would give a lot of tickets out, and then it'd be, watch for that crazy lady that's in the police car.
Did we update like Google Maps and all that?
So that's a good point. They have their own, they have a little bit of their own, how long they take to do that. We've probably, I'm assuming that we've sent some stuff in, but it just seems like it takes forever. It's like 5 years. It's kind of goofy, but it takes a long time. You put a request. Yeah. But I mean, I think the biggest part about that is, I've seen it, people will still do it, especially when it's not really a real heavy time.
Yeah.
They'll just do it. And especially late night, if you're anywhere around that area, I see people doing it. But I think it's minimized a lot of the congestion right there. But Mike, we'll, it's a bad word.
Yeah.
No, there's two people that I know that are listening to that, that's a no.
I could not believe I was getting me a Frosty, and I was like, did they just do what I thought they did? And Josh goes, yeah, they did.
I would like to know who designed it. That's what I would like. I would like to know who exactly designed it, that whole area in the development there.
I can almost guess.
I could guess. Well, no, I could guess, but I mean, that left-hand turn thing is crazy, too close to that light.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody thought that was a very smart move. All right, Miss Faith.
I had nothing.
Okay. Rob?
Okay, yeah, a couple things. One is the railroad tracks, Adam Shepherd. Do we know when they're gonna work on that possibly?
Say that again?
The railroad tracks at Adam
Right,
Shepherd?
so road tracks, we were told our last time, they told us last year, and they were overdoing 44. How come they couldn't just go right over to Adam Shepherd?
Right.
How come they couldn't do that right there? And when they left and didn't do it, I called and I said, well, no, we got you scheduled for that section next year. This was a year ago. So then I called Scott and I said, what is the deal? So they said August. So, you know, it's the 28th of July.
They were doing something the other day. They
All
were
right.
over there.
You're gonna catch me and arrest me for putting some coal patch down there.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can't touch it. It's a federal offense.
Right. They
For
were
everybody
over
to
there
know.
though the other day, I saw them.
Well, hopefully they'll have it complete and take care of that piece. And then for everybody else, since it's out there on the roads, I want to make sure that 480, when you come right there by Alpha, there's a place in the road right there that they were told that they said that when they finish the road, they're going to fill that in there because it's about this and it's about this deep. And you hit the metal when you come across that bridge. Everybody knows where it is. Yes, sir. Do you have something else?
Yeah, you gave us a drainage pipe update. I was wondering if we need to fix something with the financials, because the financials that we've got for the year, for last year, there were about 15 lines that were like over budget. Even though the entire budget was under budget, there were about 15 lines over budget.
We had 5 in the fire department just for the FEMA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have
So-
to fix that?
What do you mean fix it?
Don't we have to?
Oh, no, amend it.
amended, yeah.
So you don't. Remember, you have to if the category is over. I'll give you an example, like the one that you're gonna look at is overhead is the only one of all those, is because, no, it's not over in the total, but all the ones that are in the lines on your ordinance, there'll be about 4 of those that they'll be amended. We're gonna amend the whole thing. We're gonna amend the revenue piece, bless you. We're gonna amend the revenue piece, and then we're gonna amend all the lines down through you, so you'll see them. But the only ones that matter to you is the ordinance, and when you see the bold lines on the report. And just to go back over that again, for everybody who doesn't know, we were $2 million over our revenue piece, which is gonna help us finish off some more sidewalks and finish up some of the parklands. But then also, we were under on our expenses. So we really had a good fiscal year. But what we're doing is we actually put a date to when it's finished. So August the 31st, any outstanding bills that were dated before June 30th will be put in there. That budget's what you're gonna get, and then that's one that Angie and I are gonna amend. And when we amend it, we'll bring it to you guys. We'll send it to you, look it over, and then we'll have a first and second reading on amending the budget. We haven't done that in this city. I don't know if there's any time. Do you know of a time, Bonnie? Do you know of a time, Mike or Faith, when we've ever amended a budget after you got done with that budget and put down what was different on there? That you were getting it this year, and that's what we should have done, but we just struggled with. Yeah, so you're gonna see it. So you're gonna get the budget as it was, and then how she puts the lines through it. She's gonna put a line through it and put the actual number on it. So in that ordinance that you see now that you get, you will see it. If it's not over the number that is, you won't see a change. But if you see a number that was higher, you'll see it. And then when we give it to you, you can look it over, we'll answer any questions, and then we'll move it on. But it was almost a $4 million turnaround. So a really good year, and I thank everybody, the department heads. I think I've mentioned that before. Great job on this year's budget. We've got more challenges, got more sidewalks, more roads, and more things, and more drainage to do. So we got all that going on. All right, Miss Jennifer?
No.
All right. Brad? All right. Miss Bonnie?
Have we ever gotten our permits for over in the park yet?
For the stormwater now. I mean, we're going on our 6th week.
I want to say, every time we talk, they tell us 2 more weeks.
It's like this core, these people, maybe they're watching this.
You
But I mean, it really is, it is very frustrating because we gave them the information and they said within a couple of weeks, and then we keep calling. We're getting to it. Like, okay, I don't know if you're understaffed, not sure what it is, but we gotta finish it. So that's why we started, we've worked on what we could. So you see some work on the playground already, you see some work on the filtration building already, because they can do it. We really wanted to put that in the ground before we did it. But our timetables are getting, we had all that rain, we've had over 52 inches of rain, we've had 60% of the days this year have been rain. You guys should know that with all the stuff you guys do. We've had tons of rain. So that's just creating some of this, but really just getting us our permits. We need that permit to put that 96-inch line in. And that's been our struggle. Yes, Joe? We've got one coming up. I don't, it's at the sewer.
That's Republic.
Republic has one, but we actually have one in our sewer department we do. I don't,
Is it on your curb?
No, you just put it out on your,
Stuff on your curb.
yeah, that's what Republic is doing. That's what's coming up. All right.
And there's only so many items, so you
Yep.
might wanna look at
Yeah,
that.
read the,
Yeah, it says it's on social media, it's everybody can look it up. So Bonnie, listen, between that and then getting that railroad crossing fixed at Adam Shepherd, I'll be glad to get that to you as quick as possible. All right. With that said,
Motion to adjourn.
and,
second.
Second, do I have to second my own motions?
I don't know, you can.
I was gonna let Jennifer do
Okay.
it this time.
Yes.
Faith,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Yes.
Greenwells, have a good one. Luann, thank you. Glad you guys come in. Nice presentation. Appreciate it. Tom, how are you doing, buddy? How was the school board meeting today? Anything?
Obviously a little long.
Yeah,
Have a safe trip.
Nothing really major. They just have